উজ্জ্বল সূর্য রঙিন আমি যে দেখেছি সেই দেশ দেশ উজ্জ্বল সূর্য রঙিন আমি যে দেখেছি শত ফুল বাগিচায় পূবালি বাতাসে কি সুবাস ছড়ায় আমি যে দেখেছি শত ফুল বাগিচায় পূবালি বাতাসে কি সুবাস ছড়ায় ভ্রমরের গুঞ্জনে শুনেছি প্রচার বিষাক্ত আগাছা হয়েছে বিলীন উজ্জ্বল সূর্য রঙিন আমি যে দেখেছি সেই দেশ দেশ উজ্জ্বল সূর্য রঙিন
When communist politics was confused and had lost its way in the maze of parliamentary avenues, then, with the suddenness of spring thunder, happened Naxalbari. From ideological debates of Bardhaman Plenum to AICCR's preparations and sweeping up the ingredients of decision-making from the Naxalbari incident of 67 was born CPI-ML in 1969. The fight that had spread in many regions, aiming to successfully lead agricultural revolution in the semi-feudal, semi-colonial nation that was India, experienced a setback too at one point of time. India, known otherwise as the sun in children's books, suddenly is transformed into a police state. Unable to further armed revolts in the face of violent domination strategy of the government, and isolated from the people, the CPIML's dreams and aspirations were shattered, at least temporarily. In the light of self-evaluation, the suppressed struggle was taken up by Andhra Pradesh State Committee. People's War led by CPIML back in the 1980s in northern Andhra Pradesh and Dandokaranno has found wide following during the last 3 decades over more than 15 states, including regions in Orissa, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, and West Bengal. The martyrs range from the ranks of Prakash Master, Krishna, Adibatla Kailasam, to Shyam, Mahesh, Murli, Padma. Their blood and sweat struggle and sacrifice, leaving their mark on the movement. Once the peasant of Telangana, armed with a bow and arrow, had stood up against the Nizam. The tireless farmer, armed today with rifles, has joined the people's war against the existing state machinery, taking stock of his share of land, water, forest, crops, and education. Economic requirements have been given their deserved political status by People's War for the greater objective of an alternative system. Armed revolts have seen the rise of armed guerrilla forces. So, is this a law and order problem or a socio-economic problem?
Not only a social problem, it's also a law and order problem. They carry weapons with them. They demand money from richer people.
It is only socio-economic problem.
Some party will consider it as a law and order problem, and another party will consider it as a socio-economic problem. But the crux of the issue is, it is not a problem, it is a solution. Naxalite party or the Naxalite issue is not a problem, it is a solution for the socio-economic problems.
Naxalism is not a problem for underdevelopment. Naxalism really points to a solution for enhancing the lives of the people.
This is not really a problem, but rather a solution.
They also have a solution for the socio-economic problems, like any other bourgeois party, from Congress to CPM. CPIML also has a solution with it for the existing problems in the society.
In Andhra Pradesh, Chenna Reddy, NTR, Chandrababu, or the very recent Shekhar Reddy, chairing the government, have had to adopt some stance regarding the Naxalite movements. Under public pressure, or perhaps to follow the dictums of imperialism, they have had to repeatedly agree to peace talks or they have taken recourse to brutal domination tactics. When newspaper headlines present People's Wars, landmine explosions as Naxalite terrorism, then what do we call this state repression?
We faced a very severe repression actually. Actually, Telangana Jana Sabha started in 1998. Right from the inception, we are facing a very serious repression from the side of government, the police and also the mafia gundas.
पिछले गवर्नमेंट जो है गाना बंद, बात बंद, सब कुछ बंद.
Human 3 persons are agreed they are done the murder. Some people are telling.
I want Chandrababu Naidu.
Chandrababu Naidu is very like the Hitler.
People's War are willing to go ahead for the peace talks provided they are at least allowed to express publicly their political ideologies. We have heard NTR once proclaim, Naxalaitlu Desh Bhaktalu. Chandrababu once remarked that Naxalism is a law and order problem to be solved by application of military forces, and also pre-election promises of YSR. Assuming power, we shall deal with the problem of Naxalites through talks for a fruitful solution and meet the demands of the farmers.
A Congress government, farmers ka government hai.
Prior to the last assembly elections in Andhra Pradesh, People's War directly called for a boycott of fascist Chandrababu and his imperialist agendas, who retaliated, declaring he would wipe out the Naxalites once he returned to power. Again, the Congress party took full advantage of the Chandrababu People's War antagonism and separate Telangana and peasant-suicide issues, aiming at conversion of people's reactions to each to their vote boxes.
बोला कि टीडीपी को हराओ, मैंने टीडीपी को हराओ बोला, लेकिन किसको वोट दो बोलकर वही नहीं बोला.
Unavoidably comes up the question of the stance that PW assumes in the election scenario. The Chandrababu government failed.
We faced that problem in the elections. They outrightly supported Congress and they damaged our winning chances.
They campaign, they usually campaign like this.
Have any relevance in particular this situation?
I do not think it might have made some effect, but there are other incidents because it's not a straight black and white issue. Election issue is not a black and white issue saying People's War went and asked them to vote, so the whole 60 crores of people in Andhra Pradesh voted. It's not like that.
यानी फायदा बोल के नहीं, एक्चुअली एंटी गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसी जो चंद्रबाबू नायडू एंटी पब्लिक जो भी पॉलिसीज करा उसलिए हम कांग्रेस जीते.
Chandrababu's implementation of World Bank dictums.
Chandrababu Naidu was implementing the whole World Bank program. For example, he wanted to, in fact, in 2000 World Bank program, World Bank has instructed Chandrababu Naidu to do 3 things. One, of course, it has asked the government to tell the people that it is transparent. Transparent in the sense that you must go to the people and say that government as an agency cannot do everything on its own. It cannot give education, it cannot give health, it cannot give water. You can't get these things freely. This is the transparency he was expecting. So, government cannot give electricity. And so, the World Bank has recommended Chandrababu Naidu to privatize 3 things, 3 sectors. One is the Singareni collieries, the biggest coal mine industry, in which lakhs of workers are involved, particularly in the whole Godavari valley, right from Adilabad to Khammam. If you come in a central railway line from Delhi to Vijayawada, you enter into Adilabad, into Telangana, and enter into Andhra area from Khammam. So this stretch of Godavari valley is the Singareni collieries, giving employment to lakhs of people. Lakhs of people depend on, families depend on this thing. So World Bank has recommended to privatize it. Then Road Transport Corporation, a very big sector. Third is electricity board.
Due to the previous government, Chandrababu Naidu government, he made 3 agendas. एक बोला है कि ग्लोबलाइजेशन, लिबरलाइजेशन, प्राइवेटाइजेशन होगा. नंबर 2 बोला है नक्सलिज्म एज एन एजेंडा. पीपल्स वार पार्टी एक एजेंडा है. इसको लेकर मैं लोगों के पास जा रहा हूँ, क्यों पर मेरे ऊपर हमला हुआ है, बहुत ही हिंसावादी है. थर्ड इज सेपरेट तेलंगाना. I don't want any supply, I am integrate. With these 3 agenda, they went to the people.
Varvara Rao commented that though the NDA coalition fell at the center and TDP in the state, people know that the system won't change. But Chandrababu's fall really bears testimony to misrule and fraudulent promises meted out to the general public.
It was first time in 1987. A ambush by CPML People's War Party in Hyderabad district occurred. In that ambush, Alampalli is the area. 11 CRPF police were killed, and of course People's War Party cadre squad member, his name also was Ramakrishna, he has become martyr. So immediately after that, with a vengeance, the police have demolished the Indravelli statue. Indravelli is a statue built by the party for the Adivasis, for the known and unknown Adivasi martyrs killed on 20th April 1981 in Hyderabad district. So then N.T. Ramarao was the chief minister in 87. So he said that of course he declared Hyderabad as a ideal district and sanctioned some package program, and also has promised to rebuild Indravelli, and then said that I am willing to talk with CPML People's War. What do they want in fact? So I am willing to talk. Then Ganapati was the secretary of the party, state secretary of the party. He said that revolutionaries will not shirk from talking to the enemy. We are ready, but there should be a congenial atmosphere for talks. And of course he has given the example that Stalin had talked to Hitler and made a non-war pact. Mao talked to Chiang Kai-shek. So in history there are many examples where the revolutionaries will not refuse to talk, and for that matter they don't refuse any form of struggle, and they think that talks also is a form of struggle. As the People's War is for achieving a meaningful peace, the peace talks during the war also is a form of struggle. That was in 87. Of course, that did not materialize. In fact, the government was not serious, and that did not materialize. And NTR continued that kind of repression till 1989. So in 1990, when Chenna Reddy has come to power for the second time, that is in 1978, he was the chief minister for that matter. Again, 90 he has become chief minister. And he has allowed the public meetings to hold, and of course there was a time where the Jananatya Mandali meeting, Virasam meetings, all these meetings, lakhs of people turned, and ultimately for the Raitugoli Sangam meeting in Warangal on 5th and 6th May 1990, 14 lakh people have turned. During that time, Channa Reddy has sent invitations to us that we will discuss the left-wing extremism. I remember very well that I wrote to him that as long as you think that it is left-wing extremism, you can't have any talks. In the light of that observation, a committee with some intellectuals was formed. That is the Concerned Citizens Committee, with S.R. Shankaran as the convener. So this committee, in fact, this committee has in a way a sole program of asking the government and People's War to come to talks. So in 99, the leadership of the Concerned Citizens Committee, 4 people, Shankaran, Shankaran, Haragopal, D. Narasimha Reddy, and Pottur Venkateswara Rao, a senior journalist who was also a press academy chairman with the cabinet rank, they met the leadership of People's War. Syam Mahesh, and asked them to come for talks with government. And they said that we are always willing for coming for talks, but there should be a congenial atmosphere for talks.
Then Chief Minister was Chandrababu Naidu.
Chandrababu Naidu. From 1996 itself he was Chief Minister. He said to Concerned Citizens Committee, university professors, editors, he had talks with, that he will talk with these people. On the other hand, one interesting thing you can to understand the character of Chandrababu Naidu, this happened in 99. On 1st December 1999, these 3 people were caught in Bangalore with an information given by Govinda Reddy, a traitor, a covert, and they were killed. They were brought to Hyderabad and taken to Koyur forest and they were killed. He has shown the newspaper in assembly and asked Chandrababu Naidu that they are offering for mediation for talks, are you willing? So on the floor of assembly, Chandrababu Naidu has promised that yes, we will go for talks. So in the floor of assembly, he promises for talks with Naxalites. The same evening, he comes and speaks in the Chief Minister's meeting, presided by the Home Minister Advani, that you must take up all these issues to crush the Naxalite movement. In between, to have a democratic space, the democratic rights movement is asking for talks between Chandrababu Naidu and People's War. This momentum slowly developed, and by 2000, there was from cross section of people, the demands have come for the talks, because you must have been told that during Chandrababu Naidu's regime, 2000 revolutionaries, sympathizers, people who are not concerned were killed in fake encounters. Among those 2000, 1500 are from People's War alone. 500 belong to other ML parties. So it was bloodshed every day. No day passed without encounter killings. So the people in Telangana particularly, and people in Andhra Pradesh in general, because it has spread to Nallamala and other areas, they were asking for peace.
VV raised the contextually significant question of whether the new government would not, from its very first step, be pitted against the wall under the circumstances. Having assumed power in April this year, the Congress government moved for peace talks with PW 2 months later. Both parties have declared ceasefire. On 22nd July, the ban was lifted over PW and Janashakti. The award against the head of the wanted PW chief was retracted as well. Conditions laid down for the peace talks have been released to population and media. Gathering in remembrance of martyrs at Warangal on July 28th, following lifting of ban. Mugli Cherla, village of Shahid Ramakrishna. Varvara Rao, Gadar and Kalyan Rao, on behalf of PW, are sitting down for discussions with Home Minister Janardhan Reddy in presence of Shankaran, Kannaviram, Balagopal, members of the democracy-loving, neutral citizens, concerned citizen committee and others trusted by both parties concerned acting as mediators. They are saying People want peace talks to proceed.
అనుభవించినటువంటి ప్రజలు ఒకటి కోరుకున్నారు.
As a people's organization, All India People's Resistance Forum, AIPRF, main agenda is to fight against imperialist globalization.
అని గత తెలుగుదేశం ప్రభుత్వం మీద మొత్తం 9 ఏళ్లుగా
the discussions were started, but abruptly, because of government's failure, the talks were held only because of government is having insincerity in holding the talks. That was the situation 2 years back. But whereas the new government under Vice Rajshekar Reddy regime has come and again invited for talks this time. But this time the various sections of the people are pressuring the government to hold talks with people's war.
Politically, in the sense, not fear. There is a general feeling among the people that talk should take place. In the election also, the Congress party did say during its election campaign that if they come to power, they will explore the talks. So having made all those promises, there is a public pressure to have the talks.
Also, as a police officer, I would at least want that the violence which is ongoing between the state and the PW will come to an end.
Peace talks proceeding. What do you expect? People's war will drop their guns? Natural query of the layman, or perhaps coined by the media. Is PW now joining mainstream politics?
There is no change in the strategy. जागो रे दुनिया का दुश्मन है अमेरिका जापान, उनके दलाल हैं टाटा बिरला अंबानी ने, उनके गुलाम हैं देश के नेता वाजपेयी मोहन सिंह, उनके चमचे हैं गांव के जालू, इनसे लड़ना है जागो रे. They are very clear. The world, America, Japan, their this Ambani, Tata Birla 100 members, their representative parliament and assembly, and their alliance in the villages. These are the 4 enemies. Against the 4 enemies, you have to mobilize the people. Go to the villages, then go to the forest, have an armed revolution and liberate it. So इसलिए the जो चर्चा है ना, सब लोग इसको कोई वो जा रहा बोल के समझ रहे हैं. चर्चा के माने it is not a negotiation. चर्चा का माने इसकी इट इज नॉट सराउंडिंग वन टू ईच, एक दूसरे को सराउंड होने का नहीं. चर्चा का माने एक दूसरे नहीं ऐसा झुकने का नहीं है. व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय मेन स्ट्रीम? दैट इज द बिगेस्ट क्वेश्चन फॉर ऑल यू पीपल. मेन स्ट्रीम के माने क्या बोले तो इलेक्शन में पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं क्या? इज इट द मेन स्ट्रीम जो इलेक्शन में पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं क्या? कोई कुछ डिलीवर करा है क्या? हियर द पॉइंट इज दैट ये लोग समझते हैं कि वो लोग डेमोक्रेटिक प्रोसेस में नहीं है. वहां पर डेमोक्रेसी नहीं है तो प्रोसेस की क्या बात है? They were always in the stream only, not in the outstream.
The government also is not asking to give up arms or withdraw the arms struggle. The talks are not on that basis.
30th September, gathering at Hyderabad. State sources say 5 lakh people attended. Is People's War really a communist party? Genuinely a political force? Or is this question baseless under these circumstances?
There is no semblance of ideology. There is no commitment, and it is just, stray adventurism. Maybe their top level leaders have a lot of commitment and ideological sincerity, and they want. But the grassroots people and their cadres and their even district level leaders, they have no political erudition. They have no clarity of the ideological path they are following.
As long as you think that it is left-wing extremism, you can't have any talks. You call them as CPML parties, whomever want to call, and treat them as a political party, give them equal status, and in popular you say they are called the Naxalites, and at least you call them as Naxalites or Naxalite parties. But calling them left-wing extremism and asking for talks is not possible.
Do you think that the police, if it was a political force, police would have been able to control them? Will you call Ulfa a political force? Will you you call this, what is in North Bengal? Kamtapuris, will you call them a political force? Will you call Kamtapuris a political force? No.
Whereas CPI, CPM are not supporting and they are against the separate statehood Telangana movement. I am a Telangana activist, Telangana movement and leader of Telangana movement. Obviously, People's War is also supporting the separate Telangana movement and Democrat separate Telangana movement.
I, in my view, I consider People's War as a political party with what they term as bringing about a revolutionary change.
There, CPM State Secretary Ragha Bhulu admits PW is a political organization practicing Marxist politics. Here is Mr. Bhattacharya listening. Separate Telangana issue. Present political scenario in Andhra is compelling everyone to assume some stance or the other.
Telangana state. Why do you want my personal view? I will not give you my personal view. Off the camera I can tell you, but not on camera. This is a very political issue and as a government employee I will not give you my comments on that.
They are not able to see the momentum of the Telangana statehood movement. That is there actually. The movement will be continued somehow. The talks are one of the process. It may be successful or may not be successful, but our movement continues until we achieve a separate and democratic Telangana.
अभी वो separate Telangana सोनिया जी देख रहे हैं.
Peasant suicide issue in Andhra Pradesh. Each one is shifting blame on another.
See, for the last 20 years, we have 10 years drought. So that's why due to lack of failure of monsoon, due to lack of irrigation water from Krishna River, the farmers expecting that they won't sit idle.
ग्रामीण लोगों में ये भी दिमाग में बैठा था चंद्रबाबू बाबू ने पूरा हैदराबाद को पूरा अर्बन को डेवलप कर रहा हमारे तरफ नजर उठा के नहीं देख रहा वो भी बात सही है.
But our government worked for the poorest and poor. We made so many welfare programs for the poor sections. We spent a lot of money, not only for welfare activities, but also we spent money for infrastructure development.
On the other side of the fence, in their base area, giving weightage to PW's claims, in their alternative state machinery, development work.
सर झुक के जीते नहीं जीते नहीं 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 डर डर के मरते नहीं मरते नहीं डर डर के मरते नहीं मरते नहीं कुमरन भीमों का भाइयों वीरों का हम वीर है रे ला रे ला रे ला रे ला रे ला रे ला रे रे ला रे ला रे ला रे ला रे ला रे ला रे.
First step of peace conference. PW and Janashakti chiefs meet for discussions. Andhra State Committee Secretary Ramakrishna, Sudhakar, Ganesh, leaving the guns on their shoulders back in the jungles, shrug off their uniforms to meet in Hyderabad. Not far from Guntur at Guttikonda, Ramakrishna, Sudhakar Rao touching innumerable people as well as family and friends. This place has a historical significance, you know. Years back, Charu Mazumdar sat down for talks with the Andhra State Committee right here. So many people.
There are absolutely no people support. Take it from me. Absolutely no people support anywhere.
The question naturally comes to mind, yours and mine. What's mass base? Political power comes out of the barrel of a gun. This familiar 70s slogan is still relevant. But one thing, the media's relegation of main political conviction to the sidelines behind exclusive rifles and exclusive forests is no longer mere ignorance to us. Just how far the tug of finger thread by political powers controls mass media and media politics is common knowledge to you and me. So think, practice thinking.
आज हम उसी संगठन के पॉलिट ब्यूरो के सदस्य प्रदीप से बात करने पहुंचे हैं। अब केंद्र में भी सरकार बदली है, राज्य के साथ साथ यहाँ पर भी कांग्रेस है, यहाँ पर भी सीपीआई सीपीएम साथ खड़ी हो रही है। आपको क्या लगता है कि स्ट्रेटजी में चेंज आएगा और आपकी स्ट्रेटजी भी केंद्र को लेकर बदलेगी?
देखिए, यदि सेंटर और स्टेट में जो भी गवर्नमेंट है, गवर्नमेंट का जिस तरीका चेंज आते हैं, परिवर्तन आते हैं उसका सोच में, उस तरीका हमारा सोच में भी परिवर्तन आते हैं। मान लीजिए ये सारे पार्टियां बोल रहे हैं डेमोक्रेसी है देश में, लेकिन हम ये दावा कर रहे हैं कि पिछले 20 साल से हमको कहाँ भी एक आम पब्लिक मीटिंग रखने के लिए मौका नहीं दिए। क्यों नहीं दिए? हम भी राजनीति कर रहे हैं, हमारे राजनीति लाइन को जनता में जाने के लिए मौका दिए। ये मौका फिर मांगने से नहीं आते हैं, लड़ाई से ही आते हैं।
రక్తం రాజ్యం యాల్తుందట ఏం పిల్లడు ఎల్దు మస్తవా ఏం పిల్లడు ఎల్దా మస్తవా ఏం పిల్లడు ఎల్దు మస్త్ అరే బొడ్డ పోడు డడిగడ్డలోనికి ఏం పిల్లడు ఎల్దు మస్తవా బడి తెల్లు అరే బడి తెల్లు బాటిన మిడతలున్నాయట ఏం పిల్లడు ఎల్దు మస్తవా ఏం పిల్లడు ఎల్దా మస్తవా ఏం పిల్లడు ఎల్దా మస్తవా ఏం పిల్లడు ఎల్దా మస్త్ అరే కలకత్తా కొసకారు కొండకి ఏం పిల్లడో ఎల్దు మస్తవా కలకత్తా కొసకారు కొండకి ఏం పిల్లడో ఎల్దు మస్తవా అరే పాములు అరే పాముని పొడిసిన సీమాలున్నాయట ఏం పిల్లడో ఎల్దు మస్తవా ఏం పిల్లడో ఎల్దా మస్తవా ఏం పిల్లడో.
The year 2000 saw the unification of party unity and people's war. This time, MCC, Maoist Communist Center, merged with CPI-ML, People's War, burying past bitter animosities. On 17th October in Hyderabad, a press conference was called for the express purpose of declaring the newly united party's name, CPI-M, Communist Party of India, Maoist. Merging of Second Central Committee or CPI-ML with Janashakti is not too far away now. Where is this peace talk headed? As past experiences indicate, the new government is also trying to earn acceptability from the people. Same old strategy. And what about them, the Maoists? You may take up, for instance, the same way CPNM, Communist Party of Nepal, Maoist, unmasked the comprador Nepalese government's true face behind the peace conference programs. The higher goal of an alternative state machinery is intensifying the armed struggle. Can you see that?
समय जो है हम लोग भी टैक्टिस, वो टैक्टिस हम लोग को देखता है कि एक बार ना 7 महीना 8 महीना के अंदर में कुछ समय मिलेगा, उस समय में हमारी जो है कैडर है राजनीति बता करके कुछ बढ़ाने के लिए टैक्टिस ये। लेकिन ये जो कांग्रेस जो सरकार आया है वो कि हमारी बात सब सुनेगा, हमको सब मिलेगा, जनता को कभी विश्वास नहीं।
Maoists are organizing themselves to challenge Indian expansionism and imperialist aggression in Southeast Asia. The White House declared PW to be a terrorist organization. Is the voice of resistance and protest inspiring people to dare to dream again, reminding them revolution is justified?